Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make sewing and upcycling videos and it would mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed.
So in this video I'm going to be upcycling this old summer sun umbrella thing. It's made up of 6 triangles and it's got a weird circular thing on the top. So this is what I've designed for this project. It's kind of like a women's summer suit thing. It's got like those cape sleeves that still are quite popular, and it's like fitted trousers, and it has a little bandeau top. So hopefully I'll have enough material for this. I don't know if I will, but I'll see what I can do. So I started off by detaching the circular thing that's supposed to go with like the pole or something with a seam ripper, and I went round and got rid of that and just put it to the side. I then seam ripped down the side of one of the panels because this panel was a completely different colour to the other panels, so it wasn't really going to be useful in it, but I did end up using it later on. So then I went ahead and took a blazer that I have and I tried to trace and put on the material what shape I wanted, but the blazer was just too big for the triangle shape. So in the end I decided to just trace out the shape onto paper. So I cut this shape out and then I took it and put it on the mannequin so that I could fit it to me, so that the blazer would be more fitted than that other blazer that I had originally. So I put darts in the back so that it would give it more shape, and then I marked the seams with a pencil. So I did the exact same thing with the front pieces. I cut out a piece of paper and smoothed it down so that it laid flat, and then I pinched where I wanted the darts to be. So I marked where the darts and the seam should be with a pencil. I also marked how I wanted the neckline to sit. So then I went ahead and I cut out the back pieces. So to save space I cut the back pieces out as 2 separate pieces with one seam going down the centre back to create one big piece, just so that I could save space. So I cut out 2 backs and 2 fronts. Then I marked onto the material where the darts were by using a ruler and folding the paper over. So I did this for all 4 darts. And then went ahead and sewed along those darts. So then I laid the back 2 pieces right sides together, and then the front pieces joined to the back piece at the shoulder seams. I then sewed all of those seams shut. So moving on to the sleeves, I took 1 triangle for 1 sleeve, and I unpicked the hem at the bottom of the triangle so that I would have more material to work with. I then cut out a rough shoulder hole shape so that I could fit this whole panel to the body of the blazer, and I could fit the sleeve shape to how I wanted it to look. So I basted, which means really loosely stitched on the sleeve to the body so that I could see what I wanted. Once I'd fitted it how I liked it, I removed it from the body and cut out another piece for the other sleeve. And then I pinned both sleeves to the sleeve holes and sewed each of those down. So this means that the side seams of the entire blazer are not sewn up, and that is what you finally do so that all of the sleeves fit nicely and you can still move your arms. I'm sewing from the bottom of the sleeves all the way up the inside of the sleeve and down the side. So that's what it looks like once it's all sewn together. I then hemmed all of the sleeves and the insides of the blazer and the bottom of the blazer. I then took 4 pieces for the lapels and I sewed them right sides together and then flipped them inside out and pinned them onto the inside of the front of the blazer. So moving on to the trousers, I traced a pair of like denim trousers that I like the fit of. I made them slightly bigger so that they'd be a bit easier to get into because denim stretches and umbrellas don't. So I traced the front and the back of each leg and then adjusted the fit how I would want it to be. So it was a bit of a squeeze to get one leg out of each panel because I only had 2 panels left. But I managed to do it, which was quite relieving really. So I got one leg out of one panel and I did the same. So I cut a front and a back out of each panel because you need 4 panels to make trousers. I then sewed the kind of front 2 panel pieces together and the back 2 panel pieces together and then sewed them along the sides and sewed them along the inseam. I then made some darts at the back of the trousers so that it gives it a bit more shape, so that it's nice and fitted. I made cuffs for the bottom of the trousers by cutting out the hems of the bottom of the umbrella and I pinned them right sides to the bottom of the cuffs and sewed along before flipping it over and sewing it down again. I did the exact same process with the waistband and top stitched it down. I also folded the seam at the kind of opening over and added hooks and eyes to keep it closed. For the top I did a kind of princess seam bodice, so I cut out several pieces for this. I did a lining for the bodice as well because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't see-through. I pinned all of the pieces together. The lining material is actually it's made from the panel that I originally discarded because you won't see the white that clashes with the kind of off-white of the other pieces. I then pinned the lining and the outside pieces together and sewed along the top and bottom seams. I then cut out strips of material from the weird circular thing that I had originally taken off so that I could make the loops for the back of the bodice. I then folded those pieces of material in half and then fold them in half again so that the raw edges were enclosed. I then sewed along that so that it all stayed down. I flipped the bodice right sides out and took pieces of that material that I had just sewn and I pinned 3 loops onto either end of the bodice. So I pinned these down and made sure that they were in the right place before sewing them down. So the last thing I did was simply to lace it up. So here is the final result.